Hi, I'm Audrey Nowak, and I'm the concertmaster for the Civic Symphony of Green Bay, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the violin. This is the violin. It's my favorite of the string instrument family, and it's what I play in the Civic Symphony. The strings on the violin sound like this. It's the highest sounding of all of the string instruments, which makes sense because it's the smallest. I love playing the violin for so many reasons, but if I really had to sum it up, I think I would say that I love playing the violin because it's a very versatile instrument. And surprisingly, when I became a teacher, I found out not everyone knows that. And most people think of a violin with a certain style of music, that being classical, which I love, in their mind, but they're not aware of all the different things that a violin can do and all the different sounds it can make. So I'll start by playing a few of probably my high school students' most requested pieces to play. So that would be what they want to learn in orchestra. One of them is the Bach Brandenburg No. 3. Here's a little excerpt. That's just a tiny piece of it, but it's so much fun because of all the string crossings. It's just a blast to play that. That's, again, the Bach Brandenburg No. 3. Another one my high school students love to play and always ask is the Mozart Eine kleine Nachtmusik. Does that sound familiar? That's another one that they ask for all the time. But there's so many more types of music you can play. And I think that once you discover that, the sky's the limit. Popular music that you hear on the radio can all be played on the violin. There's a piece called Cake by the Ocean. You might know that one. I'll show you what that would sound like on a violin. And you can go on and on. Or maybe that's not your style. Maybe you like Ed Sheeran, something a little slower like Perfect. That's the name of the song, Perfect by Ed Sheeran. It's like you can dance, right? I just love that. So there's all sorts of things you can do. Another thing that I love about playing the violin is I can change sort of the emotional output of what I'm doing. Just by changing what I do with my bow, how loud or soft I play, how much bow I use or little bow, what style I play it in. I have so much control over how I play the instrument that changes the character and the sound and the emotion of what I'm giving to you. So when I play, I'm giving a piece of me to you. I'm sharing the music with you, right? So here's a lullaby, right? You think of a lullaby as soft. But let's say I want to get into it, right? And I want to get soft again. You know, I can do all sorts of things to change what I'm doing. It's so much fun. And the more you practice and the better you get, the more techniques and skills you learn, the wider your range of what you can create on your instrument. One of my favorite things to play for fun is fiddle music, or really anything written for the violin, but fiddle music is just a blast because I love the double stops. If I did a little boil them cabbage down. You know what I mean? Isn't it? I mean, how can you not smile, right? But I'm going to end with another one of sort of the most requested things for violinists anyway, to want to learn is Devil Went Down to Georgia. And that's a piece written for the violin. And when you get a composer, whoever it is, to write something specifically for your instrument, it's a lot of fun to play. So here is Devil Went Down to Georgia. We'll keep going at it. Oh, it's so much fun. I hope you're having as much fun learning your instrument, whatever instrument it is. And if you haven't picked an instrument yet, just know that any instrument you pick is good for your mind, it's good for your heart, it's good for your soul. So play some music, enjoy it, and have fun. Thanks for watching.
Hi, my name is Michael Dewhurst. I'm the principal cellist of the Civic Symphony of Green Bay, and I'm here to talk about cello today, which is one of my favorite things on the planet, so that's a good thing. I've got my trusty aluminum cello here named Blender. It's kind of a unique instrument. I love it. Usually when we do pedagogic concerts, and young people and old people and people of all ages love this instrument because it's so very bizarre in the world of string instruments. There weren't a whole lot of these made, so they still are around. And this one got saved from a dusty old shelf by a very good friend of mine, and he's brought it back to life, and I try and play it as much as I can because it's so much fun. So some people will say, oh, what does principal cello mean? Right? If you're a principal player of a section, that means you sit in the first chair. You sit, and in my case, for cello section, that means I sit just as close to the conductor as you can get. I'm in the first stand, I'm on the outside of the first stand. And that's usually, the cello section is on the stage left, which would be the right-hand side of the stage as you look at it from the audience, just along the edge of the stage. And occasionally they'll be moved around in different other iterations, but Civic Symphony, we play with the cellos on the right from the audience perspective. So usually that position involves giving out bowings and talking with members of the section and answering any questions that they have, or sort of facilitating conversations with the conductor. Really, generally, we're playing with all of our peers, so it isn't really a situation where you're even wanting to boss anybody around. You're just sort of anchoring down that seat, and everybody else in the section plays almost exactly the same part as you, so it's not like this position of royalty. The cello is a lot of people's favorite instrument. I think because it has such a wide range of sound, we can play both very low and quite high. And it mimics the human voice. I think it's why people really like bassoons and saxophones and trombones for the same reason. We go from our lowest note is, unless we are doing something weird with the pegs, is a low C, which is 2 octaves below middle C. And from there we have 4 usable octaves, and even a little bit more than that. And then we can go for the 5th octave. But that would only be in really stupid hard etudes or ridiculous concertos that I wouldn't be able to play with my big fat fingers way up that high. But yeah, one of my favorite things to do is have a choir of cellos playing, and that is really fun. Cellos and string instruments in general can do a lot of different things sonically. Mostly we're known for just playing with our bows. And we can play different articulations. We can play really smooth and quiet, and we can play really loud and kind of harsh. You know, if we're playing rock and roll and things like that, it's a pretty versatile instrument. We have, you know, something called spiccato. These bows like to bounce. And that takes a while to practice that. It's not just as easy as the bow bounces. But and the other thing, mainly the other sonic thing we can do is we can play pizzicato, which means we pluck the instrument with our hands. At that point, it just becomes a pretty shiny guitar, which is fun. I love playing fiddle tunes with my students, and I've built up quite a thick piece of skin on the side of my thumb to be able to do this kind of strumming and things like that. Usually in orchestral pieces or in chamber music, we'd play just single notes. We wouldn't be doing strumming chords or anything like that, because you could probably hear with mine, the intonation's a little dodgy sometimes on that. You know, in the course of playing modern chamber music, I've been asked to do all sorts of things. We can snap our strings. We can, that's a little scary. It's okay. My dog is freaking out. This is called a Bartok Snap, when you snap the string into the fingerboard. String players don't really like to do that because it's not great for the string or the instrument. I've been required to tap and rub and squeak super balls and things on the back of the instrument and create sort of percussive type sounds. It's nice to have an instrument like this where I can kind of whack it and I don't have to really worry about it. When we're talking about our nice instruments, most string players are very protective of them because they can be very, 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 very expensive. And so we don't like to kind of throw them around and rub them too hard or whack on them too hard. They're really designed to do a few narrow amount of things well, but if you have a second instrument or a beater instrument, you can do all the sort of percussive stuff that you want. And yeah, you know, so cello, there's always room for cello.